I see you there, Josh. Josh, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good deal. Well, we are now joined by the 2020 NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series National Champion driver, and that is none other than Josh Berry. Had an incredible season, 24 wins, 37 starts, and we also have team owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. with us. And first, let's start off, Josh. Talk about how special this championship is to you here in 2020.
Man, it's really cool. It's just, it's been an unusual year for everybody and even us. I mean, this really wasn't our goal when we set out on the start of the year, but it kind of came to us and we started racking up a lot of wins, a lot of great finishes, and felt like we were in contention to go for it. And for my resume, national championship was something that was a bucket list item for us, and we decided to go after it and was able to win it.
And Dale, how special was it for you to watch Josh accomplish this in this most challenging of years?
Well, I got a long answer for that. I raced in the weekly series that Josh was racing in now. I raced in that series for about 4 years in the mid '90s, and there were about 3 or 4 guys every year that were going to battle for the national title. And anytime you ever went to a race where you saw those guys, you just were in awe of them. I raced at Myrtle Beach in Florence, South Carolina, and we rarely saw the national champions in our neck of the woods. But when we went to the bigger races at North Wilkesboro and Martinsville, is when we got to see them. And it was, Philip Morris and Barry Beggerly and Max Presswood and those type of guys that were always battling for that national title were just people that you looked up to. You never dreamed of being able to accomplish anything like that. And you wondered how they did it. When we started racing our late model program with Josh, we were living a dream when we won the track titles at Motor Mile. We'd been racing there for several years. We went to Hickory, a very historic racetrack that my family has some history at, and won a track title there. And I just couldn't believe that we were track champions at any racetrack for that matter. Last year, I'm still pinching myself that we won the Martinsville 300. That race, I couldn't even make that race when I was a driver. And we went there with Josh and just dominated. We took every dollar they had. And so, that he said it at the start of the year. He said, the only thing that we haven't done is win a national title. And that takes a whole nother sort of approach to what we, to the season than what we'd been doing. We'd been racing in the Cars Tour, which is a great series. We'd had a lot of success there, won a championship there. Josh, I think, won about 50 races in the Cars Tour against some great drivers. But to race for the national title, you got to race twice a week. You got to be willing to go race maybe at Hickory Saturday night and then go to Southern National on Sunday. Try to race as often as you can. And then when it whittles down, when the season unravels and there's about 2 or 3 guys that are battling for that title, y'all have to go where they are to beat them, to stop them from getting more points. It's a real big commitment. It's a financial commitment that we weren't making in the past. We weren't spending that kind of money on our program for Josh to run the Cars Tour. And so, and plus Josh has got a baby at home. He's trying to be a dad. So, around middle of the year, COVID had the schedule all messed up. And around middle of the year, he said to me, I don't know for sure, but we might be in the middle of this national title championship if we want to go pursue that. We had run into some trouble in the Cars Tour, wrecking some people, getting wrecked and intentionally wrecking another guy and got suspended. And so our Cars Tour championship hopes were down the tubes. And Josh just happened to be in the middle of the national title hunt. And so we started focusing on that. And in a span of about 3 or 4 weeks, we won just about every race we entered. Josh started learning more about how to win the title championship, how to get the bonus points, what he needed to do each weekend, where he could go to race more, to score more points. And we were going, I say we, Josh was going with his guys to Hickory and winning double headers, twin 50s, whatever, twin 40s. Then he'd go to Langley, win doubles up there. He'd go to Old Dominion or New Dominion, and he'd win doubles there. He'd go to Southern National on Sundays and win doubles. I don't know how many races he ran in the last month or two months of the season, but he ran about a season's worth. I think he ran 37 races and won 26 this year. Pretty incredible year. I don't think I'll ever experience anything like it again. And I just can't believe it happened. I really can't. Josh has really applied himself and turned our program into something that I never imagined would be possible. I take, the late model, that late model team is the nucleus. It is the genesis of junior motorsports. And I've told my sister, no matter what we do, whether we're Xfinity racing, Cup racing, or truck racing, or we're not racing at all, we're always going to be sending late models to the racetrack. That matters more to me than anything. And so to see this program really achieve what it has this year is just incredible.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to open the floor for questions. If you have a question for either one of these gentlemen, go ahead and raise your hand. Our first question is going to come from Woody King. Go ahead with your question, Woody.
Hey, Dale, appreciate your time. I was just curious, everybody says there's always a bright spot if you look hard enough, but with this season being as crazy as it has been, what do you see as some of the bright spots carrying forward? Because NASCAR had to try a whole lot of things that they might not otherwise have done, at least not this soon or maybe ever.
Could you repeat that again? Sorry.
I'm just looking for the idea of, with this season being as crazy as it is, what are some of the bright spots that you might take away from it? Because NASCAR had to try a whole bunch of things that they might not otherwise have done, at least not this soon.
I think the best thing to take away from it is that everybody was willing to do what it took to get the season in. And that's on every level. That's at Josh's level, with the way the Cars Tour and the other racetracks functioned to get programs ran, to get the season in, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, Cup Series, all levels, from what I could tell, in the NASCAR world, did a lot of hard work to get a season in the books, to save a lot of race teams. Not only did it kind of save the industry, but it saved so many jobs across the industry at all these race teams, and allowed us to finish a year, get the networks all the races that they were promised, and be able to crown a champion that feels legit. This isn't some asterisk to be put beside the champion. This doesn't feel like that at all to me. This is legit as any other season we've ever had, maybe even more tougher than any other season we've ever had. And so I'm just amazed at all the hard work and the dedication that everybody put forth. When you drive into these racetracks, I've only experienced this a couple times this year. But when I started, when I went to Homestead and I went through the whole process of getting screened and going in the track, and then I didn't go to another race for a long time. We started broadcasting from Charlotte. Well, the race season come to the Roval, and so for the second time in the entire season, I get to experience that screening process and everything that goes into what allows us to compete each weekend. And I thought to myself, man, these people have been doing this all year long, and what a pain in the butt this must be. But they've done it. It's kept everybody safe. It's allowed the season to go and complete without any problems that have derailed it. I think that to me is just a really awesome thing. Everybody should be commended for all the hard work they've done. The people that have volunteered their time to screen everybody each and every week. There's just a lot going on that really is unusual and extra, that has allowed us to have a successful year and be able to celebrate our sport. So, and obviously, the not practicing, not qualifying, I don't know exactly what all that looks like going into next year, but seems like everybody enjoys it. The drivers enjoy it, saving the cup teams a ton of money. So there's a lot of things that we got forced into doing that we would have never tried, that I kind of think are a good thing, that might stick with the sport in some form.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Josh, if you wouldn't mind answering that question from your perspective, but the challenges of 2020 in general and getting things done at the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series level, how has that been challenging for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been extremely difficult on all of us. I mean, man, we got to give a ton of credit to all these tracks, promoters, their families and sponsors that they come together and race. I mean, we're talking this championship is across the country. They're all on different protocols and rules, and some race with fans, some had no fans. Really, the majority of my racing this year was done without fans at all. And just that's a huge commitment from the promoters, and to be able to take that hit financially of racing without fans, just really in a way they just did it for us, so we could operate, like Dale was saying, the amount of jobs that they saved. I mean, at our level, we're looking at guys like me and on our team, but not only chassis builders and engine builders and part suppliers all across. It was a huge commitment from them to be able to race like that and do the things they did. And like I said, we've been extremely appreciative of it all year. And, we're looking forward to hopefully next year getting back to some normalcy and seeing, the season finale at Hickory had a couple hundred fans in the stands, between the stands and the trackside parking, which was nice to see. But the majority of the season we were racing without fans.
Deal. Our next question will come from Michael Shelton. Go ahead with the question, Michael.
Thank you very much. Well, first for Josh, congratulations. 24 wins, 33 top fives, and 36 top 10s in 37 starts. Just what were your expectations at the beginning of this season, and at what point did you think, wow, this could be my year?
Well, really, I felt like our season started twice, because we raced once or twice and then went on, and then we were shut down for a couple months, and then we restarted towards the end of May, June, kind of things started going again. And at that point, it's hard to set goals. I think we were all like a lot of us here, kind of unsure. We were just taking it week to week, and really we just kind of maintained that mindset throughout the whole season. We just raced kind of week to week, deciding where we wanted to go, what our situation was. And as we got towards the last couple, month and a half of the points, the championship points deal we were in, we started nailing it out where we wanted to do, what we needed to do to win it. But really, like I said, the majority of the year we were just taking it 1 week at a time, like a lot of people in the country.
And just one quick question for Dale Jr. Of course, now we have the team name for Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's team, 2311 Racing. I'm not sure if he would break you off a telephone call or not, Dale, but what's the biggest piece of advice you would pass on to his airness about being a NASCAR owner that separates this business from all the other businesses he's in?
Oh, I don't think I could give him any advice that he hasn't already heard, but I got to give Kevin Harvick a lot of credit. I went to him when I was getting Junior Motorsports started, and I told him to give me his best advice. And he said, don't have an open ticket at the radio trailer, which is where you go get your radios worked on at the racetrack. Don't have an open ticket there, because your team will go in there and buy everything. And hire a good parts guy and make sure he keeps the door locked. Don't let your employees go into the parts room and just pick anything they need off the shelf. He said those are the two areas where the expense can get really carried away if you're not careful. So I thought that was great advice. I've taken that parts room extremely serious at Junior Motorsports. You can go in there and ask our parts guys. But, that would probably be something I might share with Denny about his racing team, but I'm sure they're going to have so much support and help that they're going to have success right out of the gate.
Thank you. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Chase Wilhelm. Go ahead with your question, Chase.
Thanks, Josh and Dale, for joining us today. I have one for each. We'll start with Josh. Has it sunk in yet that you've won a national championship for Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Not entirely. This week's been pretty crazy for me. We've been really busy, and we're actually preparing for another race this weekend. So I've had a lot going on. It really hasn't sinking in. I've really enjoyed spending some time with Dale this week and getting his thoughts on our season and our just overall, like what we've done over the past few years. It's really meant a lot. So at this point, like I said, we're still absorbing everything. I'm still absorbing everything. And, I think over the next couple of weeks, a month, I'll be able to sit down and think about it and enjoy it a little bit more.
Thanks, Josh. And then for Dale, you've accomplished so much as a team owner, winning championships with William Byron, Tyler Reddick. But I know your heart really lies in the short track stuff. Where does this national championship with Josh rank for you?
Me and Josh are in a heated debate over whether the Martinsville 300 is a bigger accomplishment than the national championship. Josh went to Martinsville, I think, 9 times before, and only had one finish in those trips. And then before he finally went there and won it, and there was so much heartbreak and disappointment over the last couple of years at that particular race. It's like the Daytona 500 for the short track guys in the Mid-Atlantic region. So I can understand how that heartbreak can drag on till the next season, an opportunity to get back there again to try to win it. So I think for Josh, maybe that Martinsville 300 stands out. He's in the room right now where the clock is, so I know he's getting a vibe off of that. But that national championship, just never imagined in a million years that I'd even get a chance to try to get it, try to win it, go for it. Josh was really enjoying being a part of the Cars Tour, and that was going to, negate any opportunity or chance to go for a national title racing in the Cars Tour. So we were having a lot of success there, and our program was financially set up to race those races on that schedule. Like I said, to run for a national championship, you almost have to race 25 to 50% more races than what we were racing over the last several years. So we'll go for Xfinity Series championships every time we enter a car into the season. And we feel like we can show up and battle for a title every year at Junior Motorsports, but racing for a national title in the weekly series, that opportunity doesn't come every year. It really doesn't.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it.
Our next question will come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead with the question, Bob.
Yeah, Dale, we don't see a lot of the national champion drivers, Philip Morris, Lee Pulliam, Bowling, maybe Peyton Sellers, get really good shots at the national level. I don't know whether it's their choice or whether it's economics, but is that okay?
I would imagine they'd all love a shot. I remember Philip bought a race car from us back in 2000 or 1999, actually. And we raced against Philip in a couple of Xfinity Series races back when I was racing in the series full time. I know those guys would love a shot. Josh can speak to their opinions and their feelings on that more than I could, but it's definitely financial. They need that support, or the team that wants to hire them needs to have that financial support to be able to put them in a good car and go race every single week. And we're always actively at Junior Motorsports, we're always actively looking at opportunities to get Josh into the next level and racing our Xfinity cars more often. And we've had some opportunities to get him in our Xfinity cars, and those have really proven successful, so much so that I was really shocked that we didn't get any more outside interest from corporate America to run more races. But we're always looking at opportunities to get Josh in our cars, to get him more opportunities, because I think that he's still at an age where he's a prime sort of up-and-comer that's put in a lot of work in the short track ranks to develop himself as a driver. And I think age-wise, you know, if you look at the guys that are successful in the Cup Series, I think age-wise, Josh has another decade and a half to 2 decades worth of peak performance and ability to provide somebody, if not us or somebody else. So I guess I'm saying that because we are as eager to get him into an Xfinity car as we were 5 years ago or 8 years ago, because I feel like he still could have that future if he could get, you know, his hooks in and his roots into that series. I feel like he could have a future in the Xfinity series and beyond. He has many years left in his career to be able to accomplish that.
I guess my question would be: is it pivotal for the health of the sport that Josh Berry that they get those opportunities? Like would the racing and talent level be higher if there was maybe a more economic path?
Well, the economics in motorsports has always been a challenge. You know, it really has. And I think that a great example of Josh Berry or Lee Pulliam or Philip Morris is Denny Hamlin. You know, he came out of the late models, same exact car, racing the same racetracks. He didn't have any financial backing, and he got his opportunity. And he worked hard to make it happen. He won a ton of races to get that opportunity. And so I think, and I know that was many years ago, but I think that opportunity still exists. If not for Josh, I think it exists for some other young driver that's coming up through the ranks through our weekly racing series. I feel like that if you're a weekly racing series driver, that you can still dream of getting that opportunity in the Xfinity series or the Truck Series, no matter what, as long as you can perform on the racetrack. I feel pretty confident it won't happen for everybody. I mean, I remember when I was young, before I ever got into a car and had success, you know, Dad would say that there were thousands of guys out there racing on these short tracks across the country that are as good as him or deserve to be in that Xfinity or Cup Series that'll never get that shot. They'll never hear their name called. And that'll always be the case. But I still feel like that opportunity exists for a few.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Mark Garrett. Go ahead with the question, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I've got one for Josh and one for Dale Jr. Josh, you start out in this business and you're looking up to certain individuals that are up front, they're winning races. And do you wonder at that point, I wonder what it feels like to show up every week and be the big dog, have a chance to win, and then flip this over years later. Now you're the big dog and you've got a chance to win every week.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's truly been unbelievable. I think, when I started, we raced, like Dale alluded to, we raced a lot at Motor Mile, and Philip Morris and Lee Pulliam were the two that were always winning. And so now, like you said, flip the script 7 or 8 years later, and we're that guy. It's just truly unbelievable. I mean, it just shows how much work it takes. I mean, we're talking, this has been spread out over a decade, and we've just been chipping away at it, and getting a little better each year, doing things better, and just building our program to where it is now, to where in the last couple of years we've accomplished our 2 biggest goals ever.
And congratulations on that championship. Dale, next week we go to Martinsville. Do you think NBC is going to be broadcasting a race that's going to be literally, gasoline and matches with so much on the line? And with Joey Logano winning, kind of really could pack up, that old thing about packing 5 pounds of this in a 2-pound bag. I mean, what do you think?
I think the race we ran there where Denny and Chase got into it, I don't think that race was supposed to end under the lights, but it kind of did. When I was pulling out of the driveway of Martinsville, getting ready to get on the highway and turn left and go home, I thought in my brain, and I think I might have tweeted this, but I was sitting in the car and I was like, if we could bottle this right here, what I just saw, and this feeling and excitement and enjoyment that I feel in my heart right now. If we could bottle this or at least experience this every week, the sport would not be able to the growth and the explosion of our sport would just not be able to contain itself. It would be incredible because it was truly I know, if you're Chase Elliott, it wasn't a whole lot of fun that night, but man, for the people that were there and myself watching it, it was incredible, really dramatic. And Martinsville's that at least the second race of the year has kind of delivered that every time since. It's just been really wild. And so, and it sort of spurs that cry for more short tracks and all that stuff. But I don't see why it won't deliver again. And it's exactly what we want it to be. It's gonna, whatever it is, it's gonna be what we hoped it would be. And it's never really over the top. It's kind of what you want from Saturday night short track racing. And I'm equally as excited about the Xfinity Series being back at Martinsville. I love Martinsville. I love that racetrack. It's the quintessential short track and has a lot of history and the curbs and beating and banging, this tight little bull ring. And I didn't think I'd ever get to race there again. But since I do that one-off Xfinity Series race, I'm going to be really tuned into that race this weekend to see what it looks like and whether it's any fun, because I might want to put that one on my calendar next year. So I'm really excited about the Xfinity race, but I know that the Cup race is going to be fireworks, and it should be. And it should be a lot of fun to be a broadcaster or a fan or anybody else. It's going to be bad for a few guys, I'm sure.
Well, just, back in the day, Dale, what made it even more fun for the Xfinity Series, it was the last race.
Yeah.
So you had a championship on one end and everybody trying to get even for everything at the end. So no telling what's going to happen there.
I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to the Xfinity Series race there.
Thanks.
Speaking of fireworks, we have birthday candles on Josh Berry's cake today, right? So happy birthday to you, Josh.
Thank you.
Yes, 30 years old. We have one final question for you. Our final question will come from David de Guzman. Go ahead with the question, David.
Okay, thanks, guys. I have a question for each of you. First with Josh. Josh, can you take us back to that triumph you had at Martinsville and how that really propelled you to have the success that you had this year?
Yeah, I think really it started the year before. We kind of broke through. We led a ton of laps that night and really was right in contention till the very end of winning it. And I think that just fed the fire for our race team of wanting to get back there and just dominate it. And we worked the whole year of 2019 to position ourselves to, we had our best pieces, best parts, best car, best motor to be there that night. And when it come time to have that race, we were ready. And like I said, I think it just that whole time period just gave me so much confidence in myself that because that had always been the place that had eluded me. Martinsville had always been the place that no matter where I won, if I won at 10 different tracks during a season, I went to Martinsville and struggled. And it just that ate at me. And to be able to knock that, get monkey off my back and get to just finally experience what it's like to win there was just amazing. And the way we did it, just dominating the race was really cool and all, but it wouldn't have mattered if it was a last lap pass or whatever. Just being able to win there and experience that, stand on that stage with the grandfather clock, it was truly unbelievable. And I think it set us up to have a great year this year for sure.
Thank you, Josh, and happy birthday. Dale, congrats by the way, on the birth of your second child, a daughter, another one. So an off-the-track question for you. In terms of taking care of a newborn, is it a little easier the second time around?
Yeah, you're not quite as scared that it's you're going to keep it alive. That's probably the worst part. With the first one is you think you're like, am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to keep this baby alive? And I'm sure it's even worse for the mom. Yeah, we were excited and eager to get home and get her with her baby sister. Isla's 2.5, and we wanted to see how they react. That's been it's been okay. Isla's not been thrilled with the splitting her attention, but everything's going well, and you know, it's busy. I'll say that, man. It's really busy. So we're all, it's me and Amy, and we're all hands on deck at all times of the day.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, gentlemen, again, congratulations on an incredible achievement being the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series National Champions. That's quite a feat, and we really appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate all you guys for giving us the opportunity to talk to you today. Thanks, NASCAR, for letting us be a part of the call.
You bet. Take care now.